There are people who are leaving their 9 to 5 jobs to focus on content creation. I don't feel like I chose to create content for the consumption of others. I think what I chose to do was to be submitted to God and submitted to his directives and obedient. And so now that the creating of the content is the byproduct of the obedience. Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Mrs. Mom, and if this is your first time here, we talk about everything faith, calling, and family, and I am so glad that you've chosen to join me today. This video kind of is a spur of the moment video. I did not have deep thoughts in recording it, but I was like, oh my God, like the thought came to me, the camera is out, and I'm like, you know what? Let's record a video. Let's see how this goes. So hopefully this actually gets to see the light of day. I was just having a conversation on my Insta stories. And so some of you would have seen the conversation I was trying to have on my Insta stories, where I was talking about like, I struggle sometimes to identify myself in terms of what I do. So, I mean, I think as a big girl, as big boys and big girls, we meet people, we are in certain, scenarios, whether that's at a job function, a networking event, a friend's house, a birthday, something, and you meet people, and usually the script is, oh, hey, how are you? What do you do? Right? And I have the biggest trouble giving a clear and direct answer. So oftentimes, like if you've met me outside, and you asked me what I do, I feel like different people get different things. I think one of the things that's very like standard is I probably say I'm a mom. That's what I do. But depending on who asks, right, it's different things, and it's different things for different reasons. And so maybe join me on this video as I explore, what do I do? How do I define what I do? So a good friend of mine, we were at an event, and for those of you who don't know, you can watch more videos about this, but I left my 9 to 5 and I have been at home being a mom, but at the same time also starting a business, a decor business, which was never something that I thought or imagined. So I do that in addition to being a worship leader at my church, serving as our Connect group coordinator alongside my husband. And so like there are different things that I'm doing in life in general. But see that question, what do you do? What do you do? Is such a weird one. And I think, anyway, so my friend and I were at something and someone had asked me, no, she had asked the person, what do you do? And the person said, so obviously, as people would, they asked her what she did, and they asked me what I did. And bless her heart, it's super lovely. She was like, she felt away because she was like, she didn't know how I was going to answer the question, because I am in this season where like I'm still actively applying for like a good 9 to 5 gig, while doing all these other things that I'm doing. And so she kind of felt the type of way. So after we're done, she was like, hey, just wanted to check in about how you felt. And I was like, honestly, like from an emotional perspective, like I'm pretty settled in like right now I'm in a season with God where we are walking on the water and figuring things out. But like from an actual practical place, depending on who asked me the question on what day and at what time, you get a different response from me. And so I just started thinking about that again because I was having a conversation with someone that I knew, who knew me in the capacity of like obviously leading worship, but also creating a lot of videos and YouTube and Instagram and all the things. And he was like, oh, so how was like the content creation thing going? And I think I kind of felt taken aback a little bit because I'm like, I wouldn't call myself a content creator. Hear me. I recognize that I'm on your screen right now, creating content that you are consuming. But I think I think there are many layers to this. I think there's a portion of it where it's like, who do I think a content creator is? What do I think the purpose and the role of content creation is? And so then why, if I am creating content, do I not identify as a content creator? And so let's delve into that. To me, off the bat, I think a content creator is someone who's made a decision to produce, create different forms of content for entertainment, education. I don't know. It generally fits into those categories, right? For other people to consume. And so I think while I hear myself giving that definition, I'm like, okay, you do all that stuff. But I think the part where it gets very touchy for me is I didn't necessarily quite choose to do this. Like, there are people who are leaving their 9 to 5 jobs to focus on content creation. And while I did leave my 9 to 5 job, like, it wasn't, while I made the actual decision, I felt like it was a decision that God offered to me to do. So I don't feel like I chose to create content for the consumption of others. I think what I chose to do was to be submitted to God and submitted to his directives and obedient. And so now that the creating of the content is the byproduct of the obedience. And if this is not making sense, I'm so sorry, but I'm like, I feel like I'm processing out loud. And this is a great way for you guys to get to know me and the way that my brain works and all that fun jazz. So anyways, that's kind of where I see who a content creator is. And so by virtue of the choice that they're making, I think then they are oftentimes doing this because this is going to subsidize for their like, this is how they're going to earn. This is how they're going to subsidize their expenses. So everyone has a different goal, I believe, for becoming a content creator. For some people, it's for notoriety. For some people, it's to be able to earn a living and be able to build legacy from it. For some people, it's just fun and a fun outlet. And so for me, I'm like, it's neither of those things. And so I really, really, really struggle with the identity that I am a content creator. I feel like I'm creating content out of obedience. And so the metric of success for me looks so different. My metric of success is what God has said is success, right? To me directly in my quiet time. So I struggle a lot with that. And so I'm like, okay, I recognize that I don't ever want to do anything without without doing it well and with excellence. I never want my name to be associated with something that isn't excellent. So I'm like, okay, do I like take the classes to learn how to edit and how to do X, Y, and Z and all that fun jazz? And I think I recorded a video. I forget. Listen, all the social media things are running together. But I think I recorded a video in the past where I kind of talked about, I just lost my train of thought. Measure of success. Anyways, my measure of success feels drastically different. And so when, I'm trying to, level up maybe the video editing, and it's like the motivation for leveling up the video editing isn't necessarily because, oh, I want more views, because this is how you get viewership is important. And I shared this with a couple of friends recently of how, when I first came on, I didn't necessarily ask God, like, what does success look like? For me, I'm like, okay, you get on social media. And then at the time I didn't have a job. So I'm like, okay, this is going to, help us as a family with our income. Anyway, so by the time I recorded 2 videos and the views were so low, I kind of like gave up, and I'm like, why am I putting in all this effort to record? Meanwhile, I'm postpartum, so I'm recording, turning on all these lights, I'm editing only for like how many people to view the video. And so I stopped, and that was me inputting details into the directive that God had given me. And I didn't ask him what success looked like. So when I eventually just kept feeling the prodding of like, I told you to do something, right? And I'm like, okay, like if I'm going to do this, then I need to know like what does success for this channel look like? What does success for posting these videos online look like? And I received that, and it was so antithetical to what, like, to me, the goal of social media is to increase your followership, the notoriety, the finances that will come as a result. I think for me, the success is obedience, and beyond the obedience, success for this channel. I don't think I've ever said this out loud, but the success for this channel is that the one person who the video was meant for gets to see it. And what is crazy for me about that is, I believe, hindsight now, at the time where God said that to me, I'm like, this is so weird. Like, I'm making a video for one person. And I just really started thinking about the reality of God's heart for the one, that he leaves the 99 for the one, and God teaching me to care about the one. That's the whole purpose of why I'm recording this video. And so if success is that one person watch my video and 10 people watch the video, then to me, that is a highly successful video, because then I guess the 10 people that this video was meant for got to watch it. Does that make sense? So it's super antithetical, I think, to the some of the classes or the lessons and the learnings that you get on how to grow on social media. Like, for me, would it be great if a lot of people watch this video? Yes. But what is greater for me is that the one person who the video was intended for watched the video. And sometimes, so I kind of ask God, like, okay, so even if 10 people watch it, like, how do I know like the one person who was meant for it was the one that was part of the 10? And in just bits and pieces of my day, like since doing this, you get the random message, or you run into someone and the person is like, yo, that video when you said this specific thing, and you go, oh, wow. Okay. So for me, success looks really different, which is why I struggle so much to accept or say that, oh, I'm a content creator when it comes to introducing myself and what I do. It's really, so depending on the day, you're likely to hear me say, oh, I'm a mom, or I'm a decorator, or I would even say maybe my training is as a scientist, but I do X, Y, and Z practically now. But the likelihood that you'll hear me say I'm a content creator is so difficult. And I'm really curious to look at some of the comments on my story right now. Do you know what? Maybe let's see. Let's see if there's anything that would be fun to chop up about what I said. I have a comment here where I guess I was talking about how like I didn't think I was like I don't know how to identify myself, and someone says you're an online evangelist, which is really funny. But she went on to say, like, how else do you share about what you do to help and encourage others? And that's so true. And I think that's the point. It's like, why do I even have to define it as anything, as long as it's reaching the intended audience and I'm being obedient to what God has called me to do. So what is going to morph into what it is going to become is it's up to God to decide that. So sometimes I have like hesitation, like I'd want to take a class on, social media things or content creation things in general. And, the goal is, okay, how do you grow a following? But I'm just like, that's not my goal. My goal is not to grow a following. If a following comes as a byproduct of the obedience, then I'm not going to be like, don't watch my channel. It's only for one person. But I understand that the core value of that is, and I'm like, okay, I need to earn. So is this the earning thing? And again, in asking that question, it's like, is God your sufficiency, or are you your sufficiency? And so I'm struggling, a lot with navigating the dynamics of what this is, because I do believe that the Lord blesses the works of your hands. So please don't hear me saying, oh, you shouldn't earn from this, because you absolutely should, because there's absolutely money in it. But I'm like, okay, even as I'm, maybe learning something, and it's like, oh, this is how you position yourself to work with brands. It's like, yes, I would like to do that, but that's not necessarily the directive that I have. So it's like, how do you kind of navigate the learnings out there with, obedience and keeping your eyes on the things above, which is kind of the wrestle, the tussle, and the struggle. So if you see me outside, maybe don't ask me what I do. Or maybe actually make it a game and see what answer you get. But yeah, so let me know. Is anybody else in a similar situation? Is it just me? Is this relatable to you per your career, what it is that God has called you to do? I'm super, super curious. Again, I want this channel to be very practical, very honest. Like these are the thoughts and the realities that I'm having in my life right now in this moment. And so for me, it's a no-brainer, like, that I share this with you because this is a reality for me right now. But anyways, just wanted to share that with you. Let me know, am I a content creator or what? I don't know. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.